Cruise news time. Well, wow, yesterday a huge day for cruising. The biggest story, the CDC has changed their testing requirements, which should pave the way for more cruisers cruising out of the U.S. Exciting stuff. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. And by the end of today, you're going to smack this smile right off my face. I got a pile of cruise news, and the majority of it is good. It's like the opposite of the show the other day. Most of the stories are good, maybe a couple not great stories, but man, exciting news coming from the CDC yesterday. They have dropped the requirement to present a negative COVID test before you fly to the United States. This is a big deal for U.S. citizens who are traveling internationally and then coming back to the U.S., and then certainly a big deal for international travelers wanting to do vacationing in the United States. This has been a conversation that's been bandied around for a while with tourism lobbies and cruise lobbies pushing into the government saying, look, we're missing out on the opportunity for our industries to recover because there's a whole swath of customers outside the U.S. that want to come to the U.S. to do tourism, and part of that is come to the U.S. to do cruising. And for the cruise industry specifically, this really opens up a whole nother customer base that may have been waiting to come to the United States to cruise. Cruising's challenging, right? Not only did the international traveler have to have a negative test to fly into the United States, but most cruise lines, or really all cruise lines from the U.S., still have a testing requirement before you get on the cruise. And so sometimes balancing that test to fly and then the test to cruise, sometimes you had to take two tests. It was untenable for some folks. And so the cruise industry anticipating a lot more international travelers coming to get on cruise ships, which will certainly help the demand, certainly help the recovery of the cruise industry. And even yesterday in the stock market, after this announcement was made, airline stocks went up. The cruise line stocks still struggling a little bit, but the airline stocks went up. So this is a huge announcement. It takes effect a little bit after midnight on June the 12th. I believe that's Sunday. So I'm not sure exactly what that means for people that are flying in today or tomorrow. But it sounds like sometime on Sunday you'll be able to fly into the United States without having to present a COVID test before you get on the plane. That's exciting. What does it mean for cruising long term? Is there a relationship between this testing and the pre-cruise testing? I don't know. I still don't understand whether there's significant data that suggests the pre-cruise testing for cruises are actually, doing what they wanted to do. There's not been a lot of talk about that. I know many of us out there would love to see the pre-cruise testing go away, but we'll continue to watch it, and then continue to follow the recommendations, follow the guidelines that the cruise lines are putting out there. That's all we can do as cruisers. Of course, we can have the debate whether any of these policies are valid or invalid, but at the end of the day, for those of us that deal with reality, the reality of getting on a cruise ship, whatever the rules are, we have to follow those rules or not go. And so that's still the case. But at least here's a signpost where maybe some things that we don't like could change. How about that? That's exciting. Now, before we get into cruise news story number 2, let me just circle back to the show yesterday. What a great show. What a great comment section. It's really cool when the community comes together and gives a lot of great advice. If there's anywhere that you're wanting to go on a cruise ship, make sure you look in the comments of that show yesterday. So many different locations talked about and some of the pitfalls of those locations. That was awesome. Now, another controversial part of yesterday's show was my pronunciation of Cartagena and Puerto Vallarta. I don't even know if I'm still saying that right. The interesting thing about the Cartagena is I've always said it wrong, and then when I went there, I learned the correct pronunciation, and then yesterday I promptly forgot it. And so thanks everybody for the gentle reminders. There were some really sweet comments where they just gave me the phonetic spelling of those ports just to remind me how to say it. And then there were also, in a weird way, there were people that seemed to be gleeful that I mispronounced those words. And to those people, I say, grow up. How about that? Are you the kind of person that gets excitement out of somebody not knowing something? I hope you don't have kids. How about that? All right. Cruise news story number 2, and one that I'm super excited about, is a new partnership between Royal Caribbean and SpaceX. And do you know what they're going to be working on together? The internet on cruise ships. Is there anybody that loves the internet on cruise ships as much as me? Maybe, I don't know. But I'm so excited that we have, super genius Elon Musk. His company, SpaceX, has really developed a higher level of satellite internet to bring higher speeds for their operations. And now Royal Caribbean's partnering with them to bring higher speeds of internet to the cruise ship. Now think about this. It's not just about consumer internet, right? Of course we want to be able to use the internet, but there's a lot of data that flows between cruise ships and their, network operations center, their NOC at the different, places around the country. I believe that Royals is in Miami. And so the ability to get more data, bigger data back and forth between the ships and the land is essential. And so this is awesome. I don't know when this will come to fruition. I found this article on PCMag.com that I haven't even seen it in the cruising circles, but super excited if we get some better internet. And reaching out to SpaceX, there's still a whole FCC process that needs to be approved with the way that SpaceX does their satellite internet. But once those hoops are jumped through, this could mean exciting things. The chicken sandwich thing. One place gets the chicken sandwich, then everybody gets the chicken sandwich. So I assume if Royal gets the best, cool SpaceX internet, hopefully other cruise lines will do something similar. So that's exciting for internet people. I don't know, you're an internet person. How about that? Cruise news story number 3, another good one, and also stay tuned for a really good Carnival story. Cruise news story number 3, we have another cruise line completing its cruise restart. This time it's the 10-ship fleet of Silversea, kind of the luxury brand there. Silversea, they have completed their restart, all 10 ships back in service. They started back in June of last year, so it's almost taken 1 year to get those 10 ships back in service, but exciting. Another company that we can tick off the restart complete box. Now, I know that some of you, when you hear that story about Silversea completing their restart, in your mind, you're like, well, what about the cruise shortage? All we've been hearing about is the cruise shortage. How have they gotten back? Well, again, they got back slowly, but I do have cruise news story number 4, a real positive story about another recruitment activity. This time, Royal Caribbean doing a huge recruitment activity in Trinidad and Tobago. It's another story that's indicative of what the cruise line is doing. We saw a big recruitment activity in Jamaica, now this big recruitment activity in Trinidad and Tobago. Again, we could be in the valley right now for the cruise restart, struggling with supply chains, struggling with crew members, but there is activity that suggests that we will climb our way out of that valley. And it's an exciting story because it's another island that's getting an opportunity for its people, and also another good activity for the cruise lines to get back to full service for their restart. Now, I got 2 more cruise news stories for you. One is the bad one, and it's really not that bad, and then one good one coming from Carnival. But before we get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. The bad story is this. Seabourn is launching a new cruise ship, the Seabourn Venture. It was scheduled to launch on July the 15th. They have to delay that launch by just 12 days. July the 27th is the new inaugural sailing for the Seabourn Venture, and they're citing the need to get more inspections to do some final things. Seabourn, another high-end luxury line, and my assumption is that with the money that people pay for Seabourn, they definitely would like all the ducks to be in a row before they put people on the cruise ship. So 12-day delay. Are you on that Seabourn sailing? I would love to hear about your lifestyle. How about that? Now, let's talk Carnival Cruise Line. Let's talk probably the biggest story for Carnival this past month was the fact that the Carnival Freedom caught on fire. It was a really, again, fantastical. I've used that word before. It was really an interesting sight to see the whale tail of the Carnival Freedom on fire. Well, of course, they got the fire out. They canceled a few cruises. They put that ship into dry dock to repair the funnel. Now, the interesting thing is they don't want the ship out of service, and so it's mechanically sound, except the funnel burned up. And so they've replaced the funnel on the Carnival Freedom, but I assume that those whale tails have to be fabricated over time, and you can't just, they probably don't have any sitting around in a warehouse somewhere. That would be my assumption. Why would you? Because why would you think that you would have to replace the whole whale tail? And so for the Carnival Freedom, they haven't replaced the whole whale tail. They gave it an old school retro vibe, just one of the old Carnival funnels. I mean, it's a new funnel, but it's the old style of the Carnival funnel. And so, interestingly, if you're cruising on the Freedom now, you're going to be on a Carnival cruise ship that does not have a whale tail. That's interesting. What do you think about the retro look of the Carnival Freedom? Are you on the Carnival Freedom? Are you getting ready to? They're leaving today. So good ups that Carnival Freedom back in service. Boom! That is your show today. Time for you to sound off. I'd love to know what you think about this cruise news. Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and it's more than a favor, because unfortunately, if you don't hit the like button, I have to punish you, and your punishment is this. Any kind of ship paraphernalia, any ship model, any drawings of ships, any photographs of ships, if you don't hit the like button, you're going to have to modify all those things. You're going to have to modify the funnel. So if you got Carnival ships, you're going to have to take the whale tail off. If you got other ships, you're going to have to put a whale. It's a lot of work.